Jehoiakim, where we start in the beginning of the book, Daniel. King Jehoiakim, like his fathers, doesn't serve God, doesn't get the picture that, wow, when we serve God, things go a lot better for us, and so he continues on the same train. We don't know a ton about what he did. We do know that he killed the prophet Uriah, which I think is a bad idea if you want to be in favor with God to kill his prophets. You take it as you will, I'm just thinking it's a bad idea. He does what every government does. He raises taxes. It doesn't matter. Governments raise taxes. It's kind of a thing. More money. And he does this because he's gone and made an alliance with Egypt, which is funny when you think about it because, oh yeah, they were captive in Egypt and really wanted to leave. So when things got hard, they went, oh, let's get Egypt to help us. Okay. So they go to Egypt, get help, and the king says, all right, fine, give us a lot of money, 75,000 pounds of silver and 75 pounds of gold. So he raises taxes. Nation is on the edge of destruction. Because there's this nation called Babylon. Babylon marches into the city, into the country, and lays siege on Jerusalem, which brings us back to verse 1. My 30-second history of the Israelite nation took 5 minutes. I'm sorry. You got to understand what a siege was, okay? Now let's imagine right now, for illustration purpose, that Tim's table right here, complete with their provisions, which are cough drops, they have 4 cough drops and 6 people. Okay? But that's okay because all they got to do is get up in the morning, go outside the city, and go to Camden's table where they can get more cough drops. And they have provisions. I hope you expand your diet at some point, but your cough drops are fine for now. What happens in a siege is everyone else in this room becomes the army and circles around here. Camps out, kicks back, sets up their satellite television, and gets ready for a long, drawn-out time because what they're going to do is starve them out. So if these guys decide to get up and go to some other table to get cough drops, all y'all are staring at them going, yeah, I don't think so. Until they come down to the point where they cut these into 100 pieces and divide them amongst themselves. They've gotten through with that. They've eaten all the paper on the table. They've gone through the Kleenex. They've eaten the tablecloth. And then it gets down into the Donner Party level of subsistence. If you understand what I'm saying. Okay? Meanwhile, the rest of us are camped out around them, watching satellite television, hanging out, just waiting for them to cave. Inside, it's nasty and disgusting. So Babylon surrounds Jerusalem. Daniel's on the inside. And they know what's going to happen. Because it's the end of the world as they know. King Jehoiakim, being the brave man that he is, surrenders. Knowing that there's no way he can take on Babylon, King Nebuchadnezzar, he says, all right, we give. So, King Nebuchadnezzar walks into the city, takes people and stuff, and most importantly, you got to get this, most importantly, walks into the temple, right in the city, walks into the temple, and if this were a normal city, that didn't believe in God, didn't believe in the 10 Commandments, didn't believe in the Bible, what they had at that point. They would have had, in their temple, they would have had a statue of their God. They would walk in and take the statue, take it out, put it on a cart, and carry it back to their city, all the way probably mocking and throwing things at it, going, ha ha, you couldn't save your people, where they would take that into the temple of their God, place it in the temple, and go, look, ha, our God kicked your God's tail. Nanny, nanny, nanny. Now the Israelites come from this tradition, this history of our God is above every other God. Our God can part water. Our God can make water come out of a rock. Our God can stop the sun. Our God can do anything. So when another country comes and goes into the temple and takes the stuff out of the temple, it's not just like, wow, we're going to have to figure out how to replace that stuff. That's everything that you have stood on and trusted in, everything that's made your life make sense, everything that you stood on is gone. You ever felt like that? Ever come to that place where it feels like everything that you've stood on has been erased, and you got nowhere to stand? They say that when you move to California, you can tell the Idaho natives, they're like snigger. And you live down where there's earthquakes a lot. Yep. So when people move there, you have your action plan. Like, okay, when the earthquake comes, honey, you grab the photo albums. I'm going to grab the external hard drive.
Amen.
It's a newer day. It's really important to take your hard drive with you. You grab the kids. I'll grab some kids too. Forget about the dog. And we're going to get down into a safe place, and we have freedoms determined, and we're going to be okay. Until the first earthquake hits. And they say, okay, here's your action plan. When the earthquake happens, you make your action plan, but remember this one is your plan B. When the earthquake happens, get down and grab onto something. Because when the earth starts moving under your feet, and you've got nothing to hang on to, all your little plans start to go, I ain't got them no more. And that's kind of what's happened for Daniel and his friends and the city of Jerusalem. Verse 2, the Lord gave him, being Nebuchadnezzar, victory over King Jehoiakim of Judah, and permitted him to take some of the sacred objects from the temple of God. So Nebuchadnezzar took them back to the land of Babylonia and placed them in the treasure house of his God. Verse 3, then the king ordered Ashpenaz, his chief of staff, to bring to the palace some of the young men of Judah's royal family and other noble families who had been brought to Babylon as captives. Select only strong, healthy, and good-looking young men, he said. Make sure they're well-versed in every branch of learning, are gifted with knowledge and good judgment, are suited to serve in the royal palace. Train these young men in the language of literature of Babylon. These men who've been ripped out of their life now get indoctrination in language, in religion, in mysticism, in reading omens and interpreting dreams, in everything. They have been now completely removed from everything that they stood on when they were growing up. The world has shifted. The world is spinning out of control, and they really want to get off. The world has changed. You know what it's like to go through transition. You know what it's like to have your world rocked. Because there's two kinds of people in the world. Those who've had their world rocked, and those who are gonna. Maybe a third kind, those who are closing their eyes and pretending it hasn't or won't happen.